Can I start? Okay. Hello, all together. Uh, my name is Andrei Paliakou. To meet Brimit, Sitecore MVP, and mostly I'm focusing on e-commerce projects. And today I want to show the presentation regarding how to get started with Sitecore OrderCloud. As you know, Sitecore already uh, has some acquisition this year, like with 51, Boxgiver, Musend. One of them is a 451 Order Cloud. So known was April 1st. So this is new product in Sitecore family. What is a Sitecore Order Cloud? Sitecore Order Cloud is a B2B first commerce and marketplace development platform. OrderCloud delivers cloud-based, API-first, headless, limitless customization, and headless freedom for growth to support your complete commerce strategy. So even they call it not like B2B, they call it like B2B2C. We have like suppliers, sellers, and different type of users and buyers. First of all, Sitecore Order Cloud supports much architecture. It's microservices, API-first platform, cloud-native infrastructure, and headless. Much technologies support composable enterprise, meaning every component is pluggable, scalable, replaceable, and can be continuously improved. Much architecture gives businesses freedom to choose from the best tools on the market and maintain a structure that makes it easy to add, replace, or remove those tools in the future. This is the Order Cloud platform architecture. As you can see, uh, some different layers is there. So cloud infrastructure it provides to have like a multi-tenant security, uh, any sort of monitoring tools, and etc. Also, it supports some sort of e-commerce feature like regular any other e-commerce engine has, like any sort of catalog management where you can manage your products, some product details, description, now uh, SKU, etc. Also, there is some features for buyer, seller, and supplier, where each uh, type of user can see and manage the related uh, things in the commerce engine, the order cloud. Also, feature like order manager because order management is really important for commerce solution because you can see what was purchased, who purchased, when it will be shipped, uh, will be delivered or not, is delivered, etc. Some promotion and pricing features where you can configure different type of coupon codes with necessary rules on which your pricing and promotion will be applied to the cart calculation. And of course some uh, stuff for shipment. In the middle, as you can see, we have this RESTful API. This is what uh, OrderCloud provides, like a core-based uh, functionality to communicate between the different uh, type of application. For the developer tools, we have interactive console. It's more or less like a dashboard. OrderCloud, like a portal, OrderCloud portal. A few different SDKs for JavaScript, for .NET Core, some starter kits, as you know. For example, if we will compare already existing product of Sitecore, like Sitecore Commerce, There is like a storefront site which you can install and play around with a commerce engine. You can place an order. The same we have for the order cloud, but I will show you a bit later. Some webhooks, some sort of integrations, which so different types of integration. I will cover them a bit later, and also customer experience. So if we will compare like a regular B2C e-commerce website with sort of an engine and order cloud, usually for B2C we have a seller which has a catalog and different users like customers can purchase some. In case of order cloud, it is possible that we can have a seller can have reference to different suppliers, and each yeah, seller can have multiple catalogs. And even for each catalog, we can configure and provide a visibility for products in different type of feature per catalog. Regarding these sort of groups, the seller is the root node of any order cloud solution, whose main purpose is to maintain the buyer's functions. Typical functions include, but not limited to managing products and prices, creating setting approvals rules, defining available shipping and billing addresses for buyer users, and so on. User groups are available to simplify the management of a large user base. Sellers can create highly personalized experience for users within each type of company by taking advantage of user group level relationships, and each user can be assigned to multiple groups within their company, and they will inherit all the relationships between those groups and the data associated with them. Each seller organization can contain multiple buyers. They buy products from the seller. There are various ways that buyers can be configured. For example, OrderCloud supports buyer networks. Just imagine a franchisee or marketplace use case where many buyer companies uh, have access to the same buying experience. Alternatively, you can create an independent plugin for each buyer company to custom tailor or a unique buyer experience for each company. Similar to buyers, sellers can contain more than one supplier. They exist on the same hierarchical plane as buyers. However, their purpose is generally order fulfillment. Unlike sellers and buyers, suppliers are not required to create a functional order cloud solution. If we'll have a close look of and just let's see these order cloud commerce management features and capabilities, as I already mentioned, so this list support all the all the possible features which are required for in the current time for modern commerce engines, like integrated product information where you can manage, create products, product variants, categories, build a sort of product catalog structure, etc. User management where you can manage user, uh, configure for them different type of permissions, etc. Inventory management where we can manage back orderable, pre-orderable uh, things. Also, we can control the inventory set there. Pricing management is really flexible where you can configure it based on quantity, where can you set different types based on how many items uh, customer added to his basket. Order management, just see was the order statuses to work with them. If, for example, some refunds, etc. We can control also tax management, different taxes per different countries, promotions. We can configure our even our custom Same for the shipping can be integration with different shipping providers as well as for payment providers and content management. What is interesting from the development perspective? So the first thing, uh, each developer start to think, uh, how can I extend some models in Order Cloud with my custom properties? So if you already had experience on any e-commerce project, so usually clients uh, have some different types of things which they are selling, and each type of product can has various uh, different properties. Mm, That does not depend if you're selling phones or any vegetables, etc. So we need to think, of course, out of the box. Order Cloud provides some uh, models with already predefined properties there, but if we have to extend something, even not like for products, or even for almost for all the entities which Order Cloud has, we can use extended properties. If you can see on this small screenshot, we have this like a property, like an object XP there. So this extended properties uh, has some limitation. So basically, you can store your data in JSON format. It can be complex, everything, but with some limitations there. So that object must be not greater than 8,000 bytes. This is the limitation. Must be a valid JSON object and should be uh, consistently typed per object. Also, you can say that it's not enough. What should we do in case if we have to store, I don't know, any any description which can take, you know, megabytes or something like that. What we can do, basically, Order Cloud suggests to use the related properties. For example, for product, we can have the already description property, and this property special was introduced to store some huge text. In case if we have description and any other properties, then in that case we need to store it somewhere on any third-party database. And in this XP object, we can have any sort of identifier and store like a GUID or something like that to link our entity for in Order Cloud with entity in our third-party database. Yeah, another type of extensibility is webhooks. What is a webhook? It's just HTTP callbacks. Webhooks can only be triggered by Order Cloud endpoints that write to the database. So it means for all HTTP requests for post, put, patch, and delete, we can use webhooks. For example, uh, we need to push some information once order will be created to any ERP system. So in that case, we should use webhook. There are two different types of webhook. In that case, we should use post hook. So, and we have a pre-hook. Pre-hook will be executed like a validation per request to the Order Cloud endpoint. So they can be like updated this request before sending this to Order Cloud. And the same for the webhook. So it will be executed right after the execution by Order Cloud. Let's say if we're creating an order and we're pushing some data, so we're using post hook. Post hook is like any middleware endpoint which can be hosted anywhere, even in Azure, for example, uh, where where for example Order Cloud will push the same object which uh, you will push to Order Cloud. So the same request will be sent to our middleware. The third one type of integration event. Uh, Not all we can achieve with webhooks. So we have some points which is require some custom integration. And for that, we can use integration events. For integration events, we also can use middleware endpoints, our custom endpoints, which will be responsible to, first of all, one type of integration that can calculate in order. So we can build our custom calculation. We can estimate shipping in case of different shipping integration with OrderCloud. So we can do it in custom way, and select a shipment method. It also can be customized via integration events. When we're talking about uh, middleware, so we need any chance that we should somehow test middleware locally. How I can test uh, my custom middleware if, for example, I develop it locally, so means I need to push somewhere to the internet because OrderCloud can communicate only with the public endpoints which are available in the internet, right? And here on my local environment, and for example, we have a webhook which should be triggered, and they have somehow to debug it. And in that case, what we can use ngrok. This is a tool which you can run from PowerShell, for example, which you can just tell that you want to make as a host public. So you just need to run this command, which I added to the screenshot, and as a result, it will return you the public URL. Uh, ngrok has some paid subscriptions, but it also the free subscription also available there with a limitation. As far as I remember, something like there is a limitation for the request to the endpoint. So for this free subscription, there should be not more than 20 requests per a minute. So, but it actually provide the possibility that even if you will test any webhook or integration event, so you can just set up, run this service locally, and your endpoints will be public. So not only for Order Cloud, in any case, if you need to share from the local environment any sort of endpoint, so it is possible basically to make it public without deploying somewhere. So what the Order Cloud provides? So also I started learn Order Cloud, and it provides, as already mentioned, different SDKs for JavaScript, for .NET Core. Also, there is like a starting point, like a foundation library for middleware. So if you, for example, plan to create your middleware from scratch, so I would highly suggest to use this Catalyst middleware. So it is open source project on GitHub, uh, which you can clone and start to integrate with Order Cloud. It already contains some useful examples, uh, some jobs, for example, how uh, you can communicate with Order Cloud, everything already there. Also, I would recommend to use Order Cloud Head Start. Also, I will show a demo of this Order Cloud Head Start. Uh, I will focus a bit late, and some Postman tutorial. It's quite difficult to understand different roles and how you can build the catalog, but with the Postman tutorial, there is a great documentation, and Postman uh, scripts were provided by Order Cloud team, which you can build from scratch all the catalog and configure the entire marketplace. And right now I will switch to the demo. So what we did, as already mentioned, Sitecore already provides some head start. So it's a GitHub uh, page where you can see uh, some documentation how it can be set up. So it contains three different applications, middleware and buyer UI for buyers who like a sample storefront, and the seller app, where, for example, sellers can manage catalogs and etc. So to this application, all they are written in Angular, buyer and seller app, and middleware on ASP.NET Core. So if you want to play around, for example, with those applications, so it's even does not require to set up this head start on your local environment or just run it in Docker, which is also possible. And in this documentation, and you can use those credentials. They were added about 2 months ago, so you can use those credentials to just play around with different admin panels for these different types of users for different applications here, which you can use. Also, this Head Start contains some integrations, but in our case, what we did, we created our custom storefront site, which is based on Sitecore JSS, React, and OrderCloud. So this website, which was built, so has some categories here. So we have here the search page on the home, where we have only one faucet by country of origin. By clicking on which we can just sort, filter our products based on different countries here. Also, there is a product details page. So let's just check some. Yeah, has more content. Also, we can navigate between different categories here. So this website even was built with zero backend work. So the only thing that we configured the website in Sitecore, and almost everything was done on the front end side. So there is a possibility that we can add to cart. So we have one item here. We can navigate to checkout. On the checkout, we can just provide some address, company, dummy values, first name, last name, the street, city, state, zip code, and some country, and mobile number. If continue, shipping is free. We can use the same address for the billing. We have like a dummy payment here. Let's say just click add payment, and we can just click save and continue. This is the order overview step, and by clicking on which we will create an order, and this is a result basically for the order. So what the order entity contains and how all the data are structured there. As you can see, it's a JSON which contains some information here for the line items, so some facets here, also images and all this stuff, some details regarding payments. Inside core, as I already mentioned, we have created a website. Let me just log in. So how we combined our GSS with OrderCloud, basically, we have here some page, I would say, like a category page, and to each category, we have this just presentation details, some components, like category products, as this first category, and here we're just providing category name and category ID. So basically, we are mapping our category from OrderCloud with this category ID to render them on the correct page. This is what was done. So the next one, what I would show you, this is another one application. In the first case, this is application basically we're calling, and also OrderCloud calls like buyer UI, where we can buy something, and we also it provides another one application like seller. So for the seller, it is possible to manage the products here. So basically, create new product. You can just open any product from here. Some data will be loaded. So you can just change whatever you want. You can make this product active or not active, provide some limitation for the quantity, some shipping configurations here. Also, for example, for buyer visibility. In our case, there is some sort of configuration for the guest customer where we can create different types of uh, categories here. So basically, we can create categories first of all here, where we can just provide some name, description, and make it active or inactive. So yeah, and on the product, for example, we can select it here. We can navigate to buyer visibility, and per each buyer, even we can configure uh, in which category for this uh, buyer uh, this product will be shown. So it can be multiple categories here, can be one. Is it configured? Here we can provide some product description and product optional text here. We can configure pricing. So also price can be configured between different buyers. Some filters. As you saw, we had a filter by country of origin, and here we can provide filter options which will be available for this product. If it is required to create variants, it's also possible to create them. And of course, some images and any sort of product assets which we plan to show. So some interface for returning, some buyers. We can just manage them here. You can see how many users we have. We can create new users, create some passwords for them. Same for suppliers. So we can create different suppliers here and manage them like addresses, etc. Seller admin, seller users here also. Storefronts can be like a multi-tenant website and support different storefronts in our case. This is how this um, looks like. So some quite similar what Sitecore Commerce has, like a BusyFix tool, but it's other cloud. Another one possibility, basically mostly for developers, this is the Order Cloud port. You can create a sandbox account and try to uh, play around with it. This is how it looks like. Basically, do not forget here. Uh, I would pay attention to select the correct marketplace, because if it will not be selected, so you will not be able to execute any sort of request. This interface is quite similar to Swagger. If you're already familiar with Swagger, so you should know that how to execute some requests. For example, we can just get catalogs. Here we have the hamburger menu, by clicking on which we have different types of requests. So, and for each request, we can do the related things. I mean, we can get all the catalogs which are here. So in our case, let's just copy this one. For example, for some for the request, it is required some mandatory fields still there. So if we will just click on the send button. If you ask us to provide the catalog ID, for example, for catalog ID, we can see categories which are available here. Same for products. We can even provide the catalog with the game, and we can see all the information regarding the products. This is how the products we are storing, how OrderCloud stores order basically details regarding the product. So dimension is description where we can show which objects here, and for example this XP, how this custom extended properties can look like our custom country of origin which was introduced. Also in the same way, also this price schedulers can be configured. I would say that even this uh, seller seller UI can be extended. So buyer UI, like this website, can be extended. Seller UI also because you can customize everything since the source code is available for that on the GitHub. Even if you need to implement any sort of custom feature here, add one menu item with your custom logic there, it's possible to do. Here also there are some integrations like webhooks where we can register our new webhooks. We can provide some secret here. It's mostly like secret will be used just this secret code will be shared between different uh, client uh, endpoints. I mean, for example, if we want to call this webhook, it is required to share the secret and like it will be subscribed with the secret. Basically, to validate this, uh, to identify that we are the right person who should make an access to this webhook. Also here we need to provide payload, make this payload pre-hook, post-hook. Also some API client assignments here. It is required to provide any sort of key value pair data, which we will send together with this import and configure this trigger events. As you can see, so different types of entities, different types of actions can be here, for example, for users and operations. So post, put, delete, patch. So different types of actions. It can be basically you can use for different types of actions just to control them. Okay, so pre-hook it will execute after the request. To basically, OrderCloud will call it after the execution on OrderCloud side, and pre-hooks before calling OrderCloud and calling should be for validation purposes here. So all as well, you can manage all these entities. Yeah, and this is what I mentioned regarding this Postman exercises. It's really great documentation for the beginners how you can set up uh, market marketplace from scratch. Was based on this diagram, so it is providing really detailed documentation what and with which parameters data it should be called. Everything is listed here, so I highly recommend to just go through all the steps if you try to work with OrderCloud or if you want to play around with it. So it's really a great starting point. And also on OrderCloud available is as already mentioned is Catalyst, which they suggested to use as a starter kit even a foundational library. So please do not hesitate to use it. So even with some examples there. So the useful resources, what we have, of course, OrderCloud IO website. We have a portal where you can create your sandbox account. You can use this Head Start, as already mentioned. There is already public credentials which you can use without even local setup, or there is two more options. You can just set up it from scratch, or you can use Docker for that. For this Catalyst middleware, a repository, OrderCloud exercises for Postman, also specification, API specification. If you want to be familiar with all the possible functions, or you need to just do some investigation or something like that, mm, you have to use it. And of course, if you have any questions, you need any support, help, etc., you can follow three these different uh, Sitecore Slack channels. AutoCloud support, AutoCloud announcement, AutoCloud support. Usually, if there are any questions related to AutoCloud portal or some core functionality, announcements regularly. There are some new announcements, new releases, some notifications. It's for, for 5 minutes it can be available or less. And AutoCloud Head Start. Mostly, if you trying to install Head Start, it usually, as for me, there was some issues because it was not clear some parts, but basically we was able to configure it properly, even deploy on Azure and configure the Azure DevOps pipeline there. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Thank you, Andrei. It was really cool to see it in action, in fact.
Yeah.
Well, we've got two questions. The first one is from Sergey. Can we push in OrderCloud custom user data like age, gender, for example?
Yeah, as already mentioned, with extended properties, it is possible. So we need to create uh, two of those properties. And they should be strongly typed, and means that per each user, for example, if you already have some users, but those properties are not was not set for them, you need to take care that all the properties for users which were created before will set to null, because it can be that, yeah, but yeah,
Oh,
it is possible.
okay, that's cool. And the second question is from Tomek. He writes, this seller UI was developed by you or it's from Sitecore? Looks much better than Sitecore Commerce.
Yeah, as I already show, let me just switch back. So this is, you mean this one? Yeah, this is what Sitecore OrderCloud provide out of the box. So this you can find here on the head start. I will show you. So we have a middleware. It's for it's based on .NET Core, and here's a UI. So you have even to customize this seller UI here, so you can extend it. So it's based on Angular, and yeah, I agree. So for me also, I like this new interface, because like something new with new design. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't see any other questions for now. Yeah, thank you, Andre, then for your presentation once again. It was great to have you here. Uh,
Thank
and
you.